races from other places. This time out, we start from the Brockville, Ontario Speedway in Canada.
That full moon was a bad sign, and it kind of worked that way the whole night. Tim Kelly would jump out in front early on, but Jared Zimbardi was on the move, got to the inside on lap number 2, took the lead away and started to stretch it out. As the race was going along, Scott Kruder would slide over the banking in turn number 2, lose a few spots, but would still be a factor later on. How about Dylan Swernick? Up on the top side, gets around to Lane Bergeron. As Bergeron's car began to have problems, he would drop out of the event. Swernick would hang on to second for a little while. However, when April Wilson spun, at the same time Dylan Swernick sneezed, went over the banking, and would have to go to the back of the pack. I'm not joking, he sneezed. Scott Kruder ran out of fuel on a restart. He would box up the field. A few laps later, a fuel stop would be necessary. Nothing would stop the juice on the night as Zimbardi picked up his 3rd win at Brockville in the last year and a half.
Dave Dykstra, Chris Durant, and Dylan Swernick round out the top 4. Next to the big fast track Rolling Wheels Raceway at the 5/8 mile.
And hang on, J.J. Grasso in the heat race action. Now, this was a 2-night event. This is the Friday night portion. As Grasso got sideways, would hang on to a transfer spot and still start up near the front of the pack. Rory Janney would lead the field to green, but it would be Steve Poirier, the driver on the move, trying to chase down Jessica Zemkin, who had the early race lead. You see Zemkin here in the 1Z leading, trying to go after her first win of the season. Rory Janney, that pole sitter, would slap the outside wall, and Chuck Hebing would move by underneath them. Poirier, though, would reel in Zemkin in the lap traffic as they would go after the top spot here on lap 18. Up the speedway goes Zemkin, and Poirier would punch the ticket right through and would never look back. Here he is on Jason Barney. Some good lap traffic in this preliminary night. Would get around Barney without a problem and would hang on. Even though there was a caution at the line, it would be the checkered flag that would show for Steve Poirier, his first career win at Rolling Wheels.
And on a night that fastest lap times ever by 360 sprints. Next night now, the Saturday night of the Summer Sprint Shootout.
Yeah, things didn't go as well for Steve Fireball Poirier on this night. He would cut down a tire on the first lap of heat race action, would have to stop and go to the B main. Also in heat race action, here's Corey Sparks going for a transfer spot and goes right through Brian Howland. That would knock each of them out of a qualifying spot and put Barger into the transfer spots in the B main. Look at that pass by the Jersey Jet,
nice
J.J. Grasso. He got around Poirier, but they would both get in the feature event. Robbie Stillwagon would lead the field to green, but it was Justin Barger who would dive to the inside. They would battle for the top spot for a while. Stillwagon would eventually take the lead away and start to stretch it out. Jessica Zemkin trying to go after the win that eluded her the night before, but the car just wasn't perfect that night. She would fall back, eventually finish in 4th. The rest of the way, it was the Chuck Hebing show. Chuck had to start back in 14th, and without a caution, would start pedaling his way through the pack. We mentioned it wasn't a good night for Steve Poirier. He blows the motor early in the event, would be forced pit side finish in dead last. But Chuck Hebing, right through the middle of the speedway, just found the right braking in the car, had the car leaning over on the right-hand side, would get around Justin Barger for second, and then pursue the 89 of Robbie Stillwagon in lap traffic. Look at this move. He sets it up off at turn number 2, dives to the inside, and the Cobra would take away the lead on lap 18 and would never look back. He'd continue to stretch it out, and off at turn number 4 would pick up another win at the fast track for the Cobra.
Good race night there, and as you can see, conditions totally different on night 2 from what we had on night 1. Next on the roster, Woodhull Raceway, the high bank track down to the New York-Pennsylvania border.
A 360-410 challenge, and it was a perfect challenge. 410 of Suprick on the inside in the 87. Brian Howland in a 360 up on the top. They would drag race on the opening lap. Suprick, a 2-time winner at Woodhull. Howland looking for his first, and it would be Suprick taking the early race lead away, utilizing the bottom of the racetrack. Howland would continue to use the top of the speedway, and this is a track with like 2 or 3 stories worth of banking.
Pretty tall.
Howland would go all the way up to the top, but eventually would learn, you know what, I got to go to the bottom in lap traffic. Howland would peek to the inside, get the slide job, get out in front, and then do a wheel stand down the front stretch.
Impressive.
Impressive, absolutely. He would stay on the bottom and pick up his first career win at the Woodhull Raceway over Suprick, Howard, Kruder, and Zimbardi, your top 5.